Yay! Hello, 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 everyone. I think my sister's dogs just heard me talking and went berserk. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. It's another Tuesday, Tarot Reviews Day, and I am here with a new deck. I'm actually so lucky because I went traveling and wound up making a surprise detour. I was supposed to be home now and I'm not. And so I was like, what tarot decks do I have with me? And they were all decks that you've seen before, except the tarot deck that I use all the time, almost every time I give a reading. So you're about to see, if I'm giving you a reading these days, this is the deck I'm usually using. It is the Lucid Dreams Tarot by Saint Soleil. And I'm going to tell you why I use this deck all the time. First of all, obviously, she's a luxury deck. You know how I like my luxury decks. Yes. And a big, thick, fat book. I'll tell you why. Because this is meant to be a beginner's deck, although it is so luxuriously beautiful. Not that a beginner's deck shouldn't be, but this is a luxuriously beautiful deck. The artwork absolutely melts my butter. And of course, I mean, lots of gold foil. You all know my feelings about gold foil, and there's a lot of it, right? So this deck is absolutely fantastic. Lots of those foil accents. But so you'll notice that there's a lot of information on the cards. So these cards not only have the keywords printed on them for both the forward and the reverse positions, it also has, it tells you what element is associated with the card. It's hard to get a good, clear shot of this. What elements associated with the card, what planet, and what zodiac sign. Because all of this stuff could give you information into a reading, whether it's timing, whether it's the quality of an energy of a situation. So for instance, like if Mars comes up, you know that that's like some fighting energy or like some super passionate energy. If the element of Earth comes up, right, with the planet Earth, you're going to know that there's like double earthly energy there, right? And there's also, with these planetary and zodiac associations gives us an idea of like timing, seasons, whether a situation might be something that's mutable, fixed, cardinal, right? It gives us all of this fantastic information. But it's a lot because there's 78 cards in a tarot deck, so it can be a whole lot to remember. Look at that. Ugh. It's so yummy. So there can be a lot of information to remember. So this beginner's deck tells you everything that you need to know. It prints all the information on the cards so that you have a little bit of some visual stimuli to help you remember. The artwork is just absolutely gorgeous because with all of this beautiful, like the gold foil and the cream backgrounds, which kind of gives you like this lovely, like celestial feel. And there actually is a dark version where you can get it in black and gold too. But I like the cream and the gold together. And then there's all of these beautiful like pastels, these muted purples and lovely colors that just, you know, like it's like purples and browns but it's so soothing to look at. And it really adds to this kind of magical energy that this card has. And this is from a famous painting. This is, this is a famous painting of Athena, right? So that also would give you information if you were reading from this card, right? So as a learner's deck, the book is so big because it gives you space for notes. It tells you why we care about zodiac associations, why we care about planetary associations, why we care about elemental energy, the kind of information it can give us. And it also talks to us about like, how do you form questions for tarot when you're doing tarot? And that's a great little essay that's in this book that I think is really useful for a beginner because when I was a beginner, I would get really caught up when a querent would be like, when am I going to meet the one? When am I going to, am I going to get this promotion? And I would get really, really stuck on these questions because I know that there are timelines, free will, all kinds of things that keep the future in flux, which is why I would say, I'm not sure that I'm psychic. I'm not sure that I see the future. I just think I'm really good at reading your now and seeing the paths forward that are going to be to your highest good. And I don't stand by the fact that I'm not psychic. I've kind of expanded my definition on that. But I don't exactly grab specific information if it's not for a person's highest good. And a lot of people who ask those ultra specific questions, I find, or sometimes they're wanting, they want to bypass a lesson or something uncomfortable. And so I don't receive that direct specific information that they need. Tarot responds best to those open questions. So if you're wondering, when am I going to meet the one? Maybe ask instead something like, how do I prepare myself for meeting my future partner? Or what do I need to do to magnetize a really, really great human match in my life, right? Devil card is coming up as I'm talking about that. That's not a good card for relationships. But, instead of am I going to get this promotion? Am I going to make a lot of money if I take this job? Or, think about why do I feel like I don't have enough? Why am I unhappy in my current job? What do I need to do to feel more aligned? Those are the kinds of questions that tarot responds to best, are questions that are a little more open, that say, what kind of healing do I need to do in order to attract or magnetize something? How do I best take the most aligned path to shape my reality, right? Yeah. Oh, aren't they? Yeah, Stephanie says these are really gorgeous. They really are. So I first saw this deck on another, on another person's YouTube. Again, the Gem Goddess. I think she's probably sold me 5 decks from her review channel, because she has exquisite taste and her decks are amazing. The Sun card. Yeah. So just really, really, really beautiful artwork. There's something about it that is kind of otherworldly, right? But there is still this it's like something that you might see in a dream. There's nothing that comes for you like this. And there's nothing about the surrealism that at least makes me feel uncomfortable. It's the kind of thing that makes me feel, it's the kind of surrealism that makes me feel inspired. Like I'm in a good dream rather than I'm in a dream that's giving me a little bit of the ick. Which is what some of those more psychological surrealist decks like to do. This one is just, this author is really trying to teach us about what, for instance, this is the Page of Cups. She's trying to teach us what the Page of Cups is using the imagery as well as the keywords, the planetary associations. This one only has an elemental association, I see. So yeah. All right. I feel if you're a learner, this deck is a buy. If you are looking into getting into tarot and you don't have any decks, this is a great deck because there's so much to tarot and all the information that you might need to help you interpret the cards is at a glance, which is why I just switched to this with my neurodivergent self. I'm just I have a book that is the product of many years of work for me. And I would bring that with me, but I don't need to have that book with me when I use this. This card kind of pops out. So we have a 4 of Cups here, and I feel like I need another. Ooh, all right. Heard, chef. What does the collective need to know today for their highest good? This, I think it's just a lot of flippies here. And this one here. There we go. Ooh, I feel like we've had the Hermit before. So we have here the 4 of Cups, the High Priestess in reverse, and the Hermit. I need to pause. Let me take a look here. So, yeah, okay. So there's a pretty clear message that I think that these cards are kind of giving me, because the Three of Cups, or I'm sorry, the Four of Cups rather. So fours in tarot are usually when there's like this sort of rest and relax moment. It's like, it's a very stable number. It's a very harmonic number, right? With wands, it's like, you know, passion, fire. And so that card's like joy, celebrations, marriage, you know, like the stability of the fire. The fire's in a stable place before things kind of start to go left a little with your 5 and your conflict, because that's a conflict number. So the 4 with cups, cups is the suit of our emotions. It's associated with water. It's associated with the moon, right? And it's associated with the sign Cancer, right? So all of this is something that might be able to give us information. But the 4 is that stability number. And what does that mean with water, which is something that is meant to be flowing and moving and works best when it's in a state of movement? So that stability of the 4 of Cups is often when we have something where we need to emotionally take a pause, emotionally take a rest, right? And so this can talk about not exactly overwork, but like taking some time to contemplate. It could be like, depending on the context, it could be like you're feeling apathetic about something. Like you need to have some rest so that you can kind of feel the magic in something again, so that you have the energy to keep moving. And so it's interesting that it's coming with these 2 major arcana cards. We have the High Priestess, but she's in reversed, right? And so this card again, moon, water, the sign of Cancer, also talks to us a lot about intuition. And so does the High Priestess. So these cards are having a conversation like, how is your intuitive level right now? How is your ability to intuit? What are your dreams like right now? Whatever your clairs are, like your clairvoyance or clairaudience, your psychic abilities, where you do your spiritual work and how you get aligned with your spiritual work. How is that going for you right now? If it's something that's feeling a little blocked, if it's something that for you isn't quite flowing and needs like a check-in time, right? Like time of contemplation and checking in. This is being highly recommended if you are somebody who isn't intuitive, or you're feeling like you're lacking clarity about your future, right? So any of these High Priestess issues, if you're feeling a block, you're being advised to take some time out and get grounded, right? This is the Hermit. And the Hermit could mean a few things, right? The Hermit could mean that you're like an avant-garde of some sort. It could mean that you are kind of walking alone, but there are people following this sort of light that you carry. And this is the light of the star, right? The divine guidance and the hope. And that's the light that the Hermit is being led by. So are you being led by this light right now? Is this light lit for you right now? This light of hope, the light of the star, the divine guidance in your life. If you need to get in contact with it, it's time for you to give yourself a little time out. It's time for you to give yourself a little bit of a rest. Yeah. Yeah, soul searching, inner guidance. Yeah, that's kind of how I'm feeling with these cards. It's, yeah, and this is like, yeah, Earth, Virgo. Yeah, this is kind of what I'm getting here. This idea of like, it's time for you to get grounded. Get grounded in reality, right? Because if it's your emotions that are going crazy, what's happening in your life right now that is like, feels like it's pulling you up from your roots? Is there something happening socially? Is there something happening personally, right? Where you're feeling this, because the things that disconnect us with our intuition are those ungrounded feelings, those when we're letting our water get out of control a little bit, right? Things like anxiety, nervousness. Is this going to happen? Is that going to happen? Is this going to happen? Like, this situation around me is scary. Like, what's going to happen to the things I love, right? All of these are ways in which we kind of pull ourselves away from the earth. And so we're being encouraged, if you're feeling this way, because it's a collective reading, this isn't going to resonate for everybody. But if you're feeling this way, you're being asked to ground in, have some alone time, have some time to nourish yourself. I would recommend eating root vegetables. I would recommend eating grounding foods like root vegetables and grains. I would recommend hugging trees, touching trees, if that's your jam. Or at the very least, take off your shoes and walk in the grass and feel the earth underneath your feet. That's all those are all really great ways to kind of get back into your body and ground and say, hey, this is right now, and right now I'm okay. Right now, everything's cool. And this kind of rest will bring your intuition back online if it's something that's feeling blocked for you right now. So, all right. I love you. I love you. I love you. That is my reading for today. Everyone have the most fantastic week. You are so great. Solid advice for the collective. Yeah. Thank you, Stephanie. Yeah. Thank you all so much for coming in. I appreciate you for staying till the end. And if you are so inclined, on my Facebook page, I have a GoFundMe to help with my sound healing certification, so I can give you all rad sound baths that are trauma informed and ones in which I know what the hell I'm doing, right? We could all use that in our lives. Take care, nourish your gifts, nourish your skills. Have an absolutely fantastic week, and I'll see you next time. Mwah!